Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today's going to be an exciting follow-up to my last video that I did where I was talking about, Dead Island 2 could very well may be my favorite game of the year. Of course, we'd have to see how that game actually plays out. There's other games we've seen that look really good in the previews, and the actual game comes out, it doesn't quite have the same connection. That certainly can happen. But so far, from everything I've checked into, and considering that so many people have played the game for 5 to 8 hours and have loved the experience, is a pretty good sign that it's good, or that it will be good. But there's many more games I want to talk about that very well could easily, be that same thing, be a game of the year, or be quite good and very worth, well having and playing, certainly. Before I get into that, I'll just quickly, I've got a couple brief gifts I wanted to show, and just a couple pickups, get those out of the way, and then I'll get on with my, what I think could be some really good winners this year. My good friend Justin knew that I was looking for this because I like that Evil West game so much, from the same devs, and that's the Shadow Warrior game. Sadly, the second one and the third one are hard to get in a physical form, but you can get them in a more or less digitally, whether it's on Steam, or you can certainly play them on the PlayStation or the Xbox Live and download them. But it looks really good graphics. I wasn't interested in this game a couple years ago when someone mentioned it to me, because I had no history with the game. But once I knew more about the devs, and I saw the work they put into this one, and especially the third one, which looks really good, I was quite interested. So thank you, Justin, for getting me this. I really do appreciate it. It's quite a nice, unexpected gift. And then he knew that I'm kind of going after the strategy guides for the Saints Row 1, 2, and 3. And he came across a really clean one. Dean, would you be interested in this? And he showed me this Saints Row 3, or the third, strategy guide. It's a really handsome looking guide. And so I said, oh yeah, it'd be fantastic. So thank you, Justin, for this. This is a wonderful addition. And I recently got the Xbox 360 version of this, as well as the remastered one, which I found and bought for the PlayStation 4. So this is a fantastic gift. So that was a special, unexpected gift from my good friend Justin in Tennessee. He's been working hard at his new job and has done pretty well, so I'm real proud of him. I picked up just a few things. I showed a couple, I showed that I'd gotten Road Rash 2 for the Sega Genesis before. I got a couple other games, went back, and some of them I had seen and went and did some research on them, and these are ones I've been looking for some time. And that's a Lamborghini American Challenge for the Super NES. I've had a hard time finding this, and it's pricey. This game, I paid a lot more for this than I cared to, but the Super Nintendo games now are getting they're getting like 25, 30, 40, 50 bucks now, and they're getting expensive. So fortunately, I don't want a lot of them, just another maybe 4 or 5 Super NES games, but this is one of them. Really happy to have this for my collection. I think I've only got 5 or 6 Super NES games now, but I might go after another 4 or 5 more. Just a good smattering of them. And the same thing with the Sega Genesis. I don't want every Genesis game and every Genesis game in a box, as nice as that would be. I just want a few of them that were my favorites, and some of them I had played on the Super NES, and I'd like to play on the other systems. So I'm trying to get ones that are in boxes and ones that I know. So I went back and I got their original Road Rash in the box for the Sega Genesis. So now I have 1 and 2 for the Sega Genesis, and they really do look really nice together on my set, which I'll be going back to my set soon now that the weather will be warming up as we've got spring. It's been a little cold in the garage. I didn't want to go out there with a jacket on filming, so that'd be better. But pretty cool. It's got the manual and then the taller Sega Genesis game in it. So it's awesome to have it complete. And it's just a few things like that I'd like. I have the Genesis Outlander box and game, but I'm missing the manual for it. So I'm going to be on the search for a manual for that, or just another whole complete game with the manual. But some of those is I get one with a game manual, then I trade back in the game that's missing the manual, whatever, and get a little something for it. I'm trying to get all the Cool Borders games. This is one of the last 2 I need to get. I've got Cool Borders 2 and 4. Now I've got 3. And then I just need the original Cool Borders to wrap up my Cool Borders collection, which I really love this game a lot. I started off playing the second one. It was a gift from a customer when the game was brand new. It came out the week it came out. customer bought it for me. And so I heard you're into video games, Dean. I thought you might like this. And I was thrilled. We went back, my wife and I played it, God, for a couple of weeks straight. I mean, every night we were playing it, taking turns. This is a game I've been looking for like 7 or 8 years. Now, I could have got it online, obviously, and bought it off eBay or Amazon or something, but I did like a double take when I always kind of do a cursory through the PlayStation 3 games when I'm at my game store. And I just look, I'll just look just to look. I know it won't be there, but it was like there, like, God, am I seeing this right? And so it's a SkiDoo challenge. Very cool game. This is like a PlayStation 3 exclusive, I think. I don't believe this is on the 360, but I really like this game. And I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. I've always wanted to play this, so I love snowmobiles. I'm from Maine, so we have a lot of them here in Idaho as well. And it's really good graphics, and it's a great game. I'm trying to round out there are a lot more of the racing games from my original Xbox collection, and I have 3 or 4 NASCAR games, but I've been looking for a few of them. This one's a really good game. There's an interesting story behind NASCAR Heat of 2002. What's cool is it has the SS Monte Carlo here, and I bought my wife a brand new silver SS Monte Carlo in 2002, brand new, because of playing these games and seeing it, in the early 2000s NASCAR games. And back then they came out with a Dale Earnhardt edition that was black with red graphics, and I really wanted that one, but we had already bought the silver one, and it had like little red SS symbols on it. It was really cool. One of my favorite cars that we've owned. But this is an unusual game. This is one, you'll see the same thing for the PlayStation 2, but it comes in a red box and very similar logo and graphics, and you say, well, it's got to be the same game. You couldn't be more false in that regard. You only have 24 cars that can race in the PlayStation 2 version versus 43 in this one. The graphics on the menus are a night and day difference. This is closer to the PC version, where the PlayStation 2 version is like an upscaled PS1. It literally looks like it was in fact, there was an earlier game on the PlayStation 1. It looks identical to that almost, just slightly upscaled. So this is a good reason why I like the original Xbox if I have a choice over the two, with the exception of just 2 games, and that's the Return to Castle Wolfenstein Operation Resurrection for the PlayStation 2, which is actually better than the Xbox version, as well as the Need for Speed, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Is it 2 or 3? I think it's 2. There's a GameCube version and an Xbox version, which are very similar, but the PlayStation 2 version is a completely different game altogether and substantially better than the Xbox and GameCube version. That's kind of how this is, only but with the benefit of the Xbox being the better version. The graphics on this are like PC, and this game holds up very well today, even now. The other one that I got was NASCAR Thunder 2002. I've got 2004 and I've got 2007. The only one I'm missing is NASCAR Thunder 2003. And then there's a 2006 Total Team Control, which I'm going to be looking for when I see it. My game store has them from time to time. They've been out of them for a while, but lately I've been in the habit of every couple of weeks I'll go and just look. And I usually find a couple of things I'm looking for like these. And this is like $1. I think I paid $1.99 for this one, and they're complete with the manuals and a perfect disc and nothing wrong with them. So, and then they have a few Blu-rays there. I'm trying to wrap up my Blu-ray collection from my Jurassic Park series. I got Jurassic Park 3 for like $3 for a used copy, clean. Comes with the DVD and the Blu-ray. I already have the first Jurassic Park in 3D Blu-ray, and then I got the 3D Blu-ray of Jurassic World. But unfortunately, the Jurassic Park 2, the Lost World, is not in 3D, and neither is the third game. So all I need now is just Jurassic Park 2, or the Lost World, and I'll have the whole collection of those in my ever-growing, Blu-ray collection. I'm trying to get. I don't want to redo every game I've got for on DVD, because it would cost me tens of thousands of dollars, which I don't want to spend that kind of money. But I have a lot of games on DVD, but I'm trying to upgrade the special ones, the really good ones, like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Jurassic Park, the Alien series, stuff like that. Your kind of iconic movies. Those are the ones I'm trying to take the time to upscale. I got a couple strategy guides, and lately I've been by there 3 or 4 times in the last month and a half or so. And I pretty much got what I thought was pretty much any strategy guide that I was interested in. He had a lot of new guides in, but nothing new. Well, I did a double take. He had a whole stack on the floor, and you just put price tags on them, was about to put them on the shelves. And I did a cursory through. I'm in a stack like, almost 30 inches high. And at the very bottom, there was the God of War strategy guide for the first God of War, one for God of War 2, and God of War 3. I found all 3 of them for $4.99 each, brand new. These were brand new guides. He bought a whole huge box of guides that were like brand new that had never been used. They were flawless condition. So I'm thrilled to have that. I just need the God of War Ascension. If there is a guide for it, which there probably is. I like the older God of Wars, the PlayStation 2 era. I just like the platforming and kind of like Dante's Inferno. They're just over the top, gore and graphic nature of them, a very adult nature of those games. The new ones probably are fine, and who knows, maybe I would like them on the PlayStation 4, but I just wanted the older guides, at least, for those games. I don't even know if there is a strategy guide for the new ones, because, unfortunately, we don't have guides anymore. But anyway, getting on now with, just thought I'd show you a few pickups here. Now I've got some actual games that I'm interested in sharing and talking about, which I've seen some really cool new trailers, and I thought I'd go over those next. So the first game is the new Star Wars Jedi Survivor, coming out pretty soon. I think it's in April, I believe. It looks really good. I have the other one, the Jedi Fallen Order, which looks good. I just haven't got around to playing it yet. It's more of a hack and slash game, although I love the platforming. I like some of the fighting in it. I played some of the lightsaber combat games and Jedi Outcast and Academy. But at least with Outcast, you start off with a blaster, and then you slowly, after several hours, then eventually you kind of work up to the lightsaber, and you can still use the blaster. So I like the combination of the two. I don't like to be just limited to a lightsaber per se, but it does look good. At some point I'll get it. I probably won't get this at launch because I've just got only so many finite amount of money that I can spend on new games, and so I have to kind of pick and choose. But I'll get that at some point for sure. It looks really good. I'm just happy to see a single-player Star Wars game out that we can all enjoy, which you can't beat that. The next one is Stalker II, which looks good. Now, I've never played any of the Stalker games. Again, I'm not really a PC gamer anymore. I played PC games years ago, but it's been quite a while since I've played them. But it looks really cool. Kind of a combination of I think Metro and probably, what's it called? It's Chernobyl that I bought, about a year ago. Really cool game. Really atmospheric and dark, and the way things are going in the world right now, we could actually have that kind of a scenario that's depicted in Metro and the Stalker II games. If this administration continues to go on a no peace. They're not looking for peace. There's a chance we could have had peace and put an end to this World War III thing, but no, they want to go full speed ahead for the war machine, to keep the war machine going, which I'm very anti-war. It's fascinating to look back at World War II, and I like World War II games, and military combat is fascinating strategy-wise and everything, but when it comes to real life and people being killed, it's just, the world is not a good place right now, which is all the more reason to escape to gaming, I suppose. But you don't want to be so escaped into it that you're oblivious to what's going on around you, that you can make a difference and vote, and we can get rid of a lot of this anarchy that's going on, as well as this, never-ending wars. But you've got to vote your conscience and really look at things. Don't be so quick to just be in a narrow-minded view. Look at what the bigger picture is for peace and prosperity for everyone, for the whole world and America. And I think if we did that, we'd make better quality choices and decisions that would benefit the whole world. We'd all prosper from it. But anyway, enough political talk. The System Shock reboot looks really good. I'm really excited about that. I've never played it. It's kind of like a BioShock-like kind of a game. But I love the reboot. It's just very cool. It's just, it still has an old-fashioned feel, but looks relatively modern. Very anxious to see. I'm sure it'll be coming to consoles. Hopefully it will be. The next game is one I've followed for about a year or so now, and I've been a huge fan of the Test Drive series. I have all of them for the PlayStation 1. I have most of them. I think the only one I'm missing is there's a Test Drive Le Mans for the PS1 that in fact, they have it at my game store. I probably go back and get it. It's a little pricey, but I may go back and get it. But I love the Test Drive series, and there's a new one coming out called Test Drive Solar Crown. Now, unfortunately, right now it's kind of just a CG trailer, but what I have seen of it does look really, really good. And it looks promising. We'll see. I think it takes place in Hong Kong, in the Orient, but it's very cool. The graphics look fantastic, and you have a combination of SUVs and trucks, as well as high-end sports cars, muscle cars, exotic cars, things like that. So I'm excited about that one. This next game is one of my most highly anticipated games, and many of you, I'm sure, feel the same way if you especially have a love for 80s film and action movies and sci-fi movies like myself. And that's the new Robocop game coming out. Now, the first Robocop movie I saw 5 times at the theater. I went opening night to see it with my dad, and then went back with my best friend the next day and saw it, and like the next weekend a couple more times, at least 5 times. I was just enthralled with that movie at the time. In fact, I wanted my dad to go out and buy a Ford Taurus because they showed the Ford Taurus police cars. Of course, little did I know then the cars were utter shit and had a horrible transmission in them. But I think he did buy one, and he had problems with it and took it back and got out from under and got at least something else, which was interesting at the time. But anyway, the Robocop game looks really, really good. I love the graphics. This is done by the Terminator Resistance guys, Tijan or Taeon or however it's pronounced. They also did the Rambo 3, the video game for the PlayStation 3, which I really like. I'm one of the 12 people that actually like that game. And I did a pretty good review of it. You can always go back and for a laugh and watch that. But the Robocop looks fantastic. I'm nothing but excited and enthusiastic for that. That's going to be the system seller where I'm going to have to upgrade to a PS5 or a Series X just to play that one, and Destroyal Humans 2. I definitely want to play it. I almost got a new system to play Destroyal Humans 2, but that was like the only game out that I could warrant getting a new system for, and I just couldn't do it. I had a chance for a PS5 at launch, and I turned it down. My friend Cameron of Industrial Gamer found me one. Dean, I've got one for you if you want it. Let me know. And all I had to do was give him the money, and I would have had it right at launch. And there was no games for me that I like that I could see myself playing and enjoying, so I held off on it. But anyway, Robocop, many of you I know are excited for it. It looks really, really good. Just don't know which system I'm going to get. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a new system just to play that game, and then several others coming out this year. The next game is Aliens Dark Descent. Now, I've heard a little bit about this. I remember seeing some previews of it, months ago. And then lately I saw a really good trailer showing more gameplay of it. Kind of an RTS, real-time strategy, RPG type game. More of a top-down format. But I think it could be good. It looks good. I love anything with a real-time strategy. So, there's a John Romero, Mafia game. What's it called? Sin City. Sin Empire of Sin. It looks really good. And I bought that game because it does look good. But I think that this would lend itself to an RTS really well. I'm really curious to see how you can level up your alien. And it has permadeath in it too, which is very cool. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one. That's one I'll more than likely get. The next one, I've seen a preview a few months ago, and I was over the top excited for it. And then I just recently saw ACG did a really good preview of it, as well as a few other YouTubers. And that's the new Warhammer 40K Boltgun. Now, this is like an old Return to the Blood game or the Doom games, Quake. Very fast-paced, kind of rudimentary graphics, and it's kind of done to like an older style game, but there's modern sensibilities to it. That's what I like about it. And it even has a graphic slider to where you can slide it down to where the graphics in the foreground are as pixelated as you want them, including the sprites, or you can ramp it up to where it looks more photorealistic, which is very cool. I like that. And I'd like to see that in more kind of retro type games. I think that's awesome. That way you can get it as realistic or as archaic looking as possible. Very cool game. Very, very excited. Finally, another good first-person shooter Warhammer game that we can really enjoy. And if that's not enough, I've pretty much seen there's 2 or 3 trailers for the new Warhammer 40K Space Marines 2, which I'm extremely excited for. To me, that one could be easily a game of the year for me. And I mentioned that in my, the Dead Island 2 video that I thought that. We'll see how that one could take the ultimate German chocolate cake for games this year, for me anyway. But again, that's my taste for that over-the-top violence and gore. The Warhammer series, I never played the tabletop versions of it. I have a friend here in town that his father is really into the tabletop part and has done all the little models, and I could easily learn everything on how to play it from him. And I've had an open invitation for a while to that, and he wants to invite me to a barbecue, and then he wants to talk to me about Warhammer. So I'm quite tempted to, because I love the Warhammer series, and this 40K Space Marines is like my kind of game. Finally, what do they call it? Toxic masculinity cranked up to 11. That's my kind of a game. We don't get these kind of games anymore, Funny, my friend Jeremy just got this, discovered that there's a remastered Bulletstorm in the full clip edition. We can play as Duke Nukem. And he didn't know about it apparently and got the game and he's playing it and he's absolutely loving it. I knew about it months before it came out and pre-ordered it. I already have the strategy guide for the first one, but when that first Bulletstorm came out, 2011, 12, whenever it was in there somewhere, I was afraid it was so graphic with the violence and gore and non-politically correct nature of it, like Duke Nukem Forever. I really thought that it was going to get pulled off the shelves. So I pre-ordered it and the strategy guide, and I went to the midnight launch to get it because I was fearful in the next few days that would be pulled from all the stores. Oh, it's too violent, too graphic, we can't have it. Of course, it wasn't. Now it's probably relatively tame compared to some of the games we get now. But the political, non-politically correct nature of it is, I think that game and Duke Nukem Forever, those are the end of an era. You will not see those type of games being made anymore, sadly. And as you saw with the new Saints Row reboot, what happens when you try to not offend anyone, And this is what the new Gran Turismo 6, not Gran Turismo, GTA 6 is going to be. When you castrate the testicles right off Rockstar, oh, we're afraid, we don't want to punch down or punch up or violate these people or that people or step on anyone's toes, God forbid, that game will be shit. It will not be a Rockstar game by any stretch of the imagination. It technically has a Rockstar name on it, but the true soul of Rockstar has left that company. The best designers and even the founders of the company have left. I mean, it's not the same company, guys. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably the last really good game you're going to get from them, which is sad. I will have nothing to do with GTA 6. And the reason why is it's going to be a live service game, so you can't play it offline. Right off the bat, that alone is reason for me not to get it, to actually boycott it. Now you may say, well, that's kind of an extreme, Dean, boycotting a live service game. You know what? If I don't, and if people like me don't, we're just going to keep getting more of them, guys. And then the days of offline single-player games are probably going to be coming to an end. It's probably too late already because people will not make a stand for what they want. And if people like those kind of games, I mean, if you want a live service game or a big MMO, I mean, I guess I can understand. I played my share of online gaming around 2010 to 2012. I had played a lot of online stuff on Xbox Live and on the PlayStation 3. But I outgrew it. I didn't like it. I gave it a good try. I had friends of mine, Dean, you got to try this, got to try it. I tried it all. It's just not for me. And I clearly see that I did not want the direction of all my favorite franchises to go in that direction. What happened to Sleeping Dogs? They were going to do a wonderful sequel at the last, let's make it a live service game, a big MMO, and they ruined it. And now it's gone. So now we'll never see a true sequel to a wonderful single-player experience, which is Sleeping Dogs. I mean, one of the best hidden gems ever. I think it's one of the most underrated games in many respects. It's really a quality game. There's many elements of it I like better than GTA 5, and as good as it is. But we won't get another one because people are focusing on this MMO crap, and we get too much of it. And then they're killing franchises. Or we have games where you got to go online to play the solo aspect of the game, which I won't have anything to do with. I boycott every single one of them. I have to, or I'm just part of the problem. That's how I look at it. That's how seriously I take it. My gaming is important. I don't want the future of gaming. It's already going downhill fast, but I'm trying to keep it from going down to a vertical dive as long as I can to try to enjoy some of it. This probably will be the last gen, this 9th gen for me. That's it. I'm not going to have any part of streaming, digital, online only stuff. I won't do it. Just won't do it. So anyway, Warhammer 40K Space Marines 2, getting back to my original rant here, looks very good. I'm very excited. There's a statue you can get of a Space Marine. He's slaying this Tyranid alien, and it's really gory. It's a fantastic statue, but it's $250. I can't do it. As much as I want it, if it was $150, I probably would pull the trigger on it, but not for $250. Maybe down the road, if I stumble across one for $125 or $150 years from now, maybe I'll buy it for sure. But I just can't. I can't spend that kind of money. But I might get a nice steel case of it if that's an option. We'll see. The next game is Starfield. I know many of you are very excited for that. I'm optimistically cautious on that one. If it's a live service game like Fallout 76, it'll be boycotted. I'll have nothing to do with it. So I need to hear that it's going to be offline. If it's going to be like Fallout 4 and you can enjoy it offline, fine. Will it be buggy at launch? More than likely, just like Fallout 4 was. Will they fix it over time? Probably. Will I get it right at launch? I don't know. Probably not. I was so disappointed with Fallout 76 that they took a wonderful series. Fallout 4 is one of the greatest immersive experiences I've ever had. Ever. And to see that, and I was excited initially, they're going to have it back and take place in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania or whatever, back east, and the fall and the autumn colors, and I liked the concept of it. And then I heard it's a live service game? Oh, no, have nothing to do with it. And I'm glad, and look what a disaster it's been. Even though they fixed a lot of it, it's more playable now, I'm not interested. No interest in that at all. So I'm going to wait and see on Starfield. We'll wait and see. We'll just wait and see. There's another one that I'll mention. I don't know if I have any B-roll footage or not of it because I just discovered at the last minute after I'd already captured a lot of B-roll footage for this video. And that's Outbreak Island. It looks like it's going to be on Steam and probably on consoles as well. I don't know if it'll be on old consoles or just new gen only. It looks interesting, kind of like The Forest, kind of survival horror type deal, kind of a Fallout type game as well. Really interesting game. I like what I see so far. It's just very limited, but it looks interesting. The other thing that's already came out, but unfortunately it's a disaster, is that's Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice. I like the concept of having next-gen graphics, and it looks like they did a better job really detailing in high res and great ranges of colors and detail in the world and everything, but it's just bug-ridden, horrible frame rate problems, pop-in, stuff like that. It's going to take a few patches to fix it. So down the road, I would like to get that, and definitely Destroyal Humans 2. Those will be immediately next-gen purchases for me when the time comes. But that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know in the comments which of these games you like, what you're interested in playing. I will add to this, though, to kind of go along the segue from my last video on Dead Island 2. Right after I uploaded this, naturally they came out with another. I was going to wait a little longer. I had to make the video at some point. They came out with a new cinematic trailer for it. Really, it's not done by the devs that made the game, but it's another outside source. But it's a very well done, kind of a cinematic trailer that really captures the tone of what I think this game is going after. and it's a beautiful trailer. I'm going to have a link to it below. Watch the trailer. Unfortunately, I can show you the trailer here, but I can't have the music because it'll get copyrighted for sure. It's a shame because this music is very perfectly meshed with this game. I mean, it's just a really cool trailer. Very unexpected. It looks really cool. And I think on the 28th of this month, they're going to have something coming up they've hinted about, probably maybe a story trailer, gameplay trailer, or something like that. So I'm still excited, very excited. I've already pre-ordered the $100 Hell A edition of it, ironically, which I'm quite excited about. For about 130 or so, I could have got the little statue, which I almost went after, but I don't think my wife would appreciate me having a statue of some chick sitting with her legs crossed on a diner stool with a hot fudge sundae. So I could already hear the flack from that, so I just said, no, it's all right. If it was a dude statue like Duke Nukem or something, it's safe. She'd even think it's cool, but I can't do any statues of chicks. I can't. But for you guys that like that kind of thing, go ahead and order it. I mean, if you want to spend the money for it. But I'm still very excited about Dead Island 2. So anyway, that's it, guys. I just want to kind of talk about a few games I thought that look really good for me this year anyway, and there'll probably be more showing up here soon, or more surprises that we're not aware of. Some good indie games too coming, I'm quite sure, but we'll see what happens. But let me know in the comments the games that you're looking forward to the most, what you think about some of the trailers and things I've shown. Is this the first you've heard of them? I mean, some people didn't even know about some of these games, like Dead Island 2. But depends on how much you're on the internet, naturally. I mean, I'm not on Twitter or Facebook, but just from YouTube alone, I come across a lot of game trailers and previews. And there's some really good ones on with Game Informer. Put in Dead Island 2 Game Informer in a search and look, and there's good interviews of what the game's about, the tone, the flesh system that they've used to create these zombies. It's a very revolutionary thing. It's going to be interesting. There's not going to be any fighting humans in the game, and no driving of cars. This is a very pure linear experience. There's 10 unique districts in LA, and then as the expansion passed, I'm sure they'll have more. I have a feeling they'll add some more to it. They could have Catalina Island. There's a lot of other iconic areas they could add to it. Palm Springs, that could be outside of LA or whatever, Orange County, Huntington Beach. You never know. They could add some interesting in that LA area, other expansions down the road, which could be quite cool. But I'm really excited for a lot of good things coming this year, and I can't wait to get the next-gen console finally with something that I can play on and enjoy. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Enjoy your games and your game collections. See you next time.